Good morning, class. We discussed about the lamentation of the old pensioner yesterday. We read the poem, and now today we are moving on to the question answer. First of all, let's talk once again about the poetry. So, what is this poetry about? It is a rage of old man towards the time. Why? Because time has dilapidated him, time has destroyed him, time has snatched away his vigor, time has snatched the strength from him, and now he is like the broken tree who cannot produce leaves, who cannot produce flowers and fruits, and to whom no one is attracted, who is just standing there lonely, in isolation, alone, right? No one comes to them. So he is in this status. And in the first stanza, what is he doing? He is actually telling us about what was his status in the youth. My chair was nearest to the fire in every company that talked of love and politics. So now here we are knowing, we are coming we are discovering the youthfulness of this poetic persona. What was this person like in his youth? So here what is he saying is what was his status before time transfigured him. What was he like before before dilapidation by the time. So now in the second paragraph what he talks is the youth of these days who are not like him are energetic and talking about various different things, issues, but for him the concern remains time. He is not interested in those conspiracies the lads they are doing, and these lads, these youths, not only this sense comes here, rather another sense what comes here is he jealousy towards those youth. Whatever they are doing, he is telling them conspiracies. He is telling they are making the pikes, right? So whatever he saw, the activities of the youth, he says that they are not good. Why? Because he is jealous, right? He is jealous seeing those youths doing those things. And actually the other way is these youths are not behaving according to his time. Whatever he used to do in his youth was of love, was of greater social cause. He says politics and love. So but now what youths are doing are they are making the pikes to hurt someone. They are making conspiracies to delude the mind of the people, right? So what are they doing? They are not doing good. They are not working like him as he did in his youth, with the love and also with the politics. Politics relating to the greater social cause, love relating to the relationship, the good nature that he shared with other people, right? So in the second stanza what we see is here his rays, and also we see the contrast between the youthfulness of his days and the youthfulness of today. What we also see is his jealousy against the youth, because that is lost. Whatever is lost, you are jealous about that, right? So here we can interpret this as his jealousy, as the contrast between his youthfulness and the youth of today, or as the concern of the world, concern of the young people who are busy in their own affairs. And this author who is transfigured by the time, this author has only concern about the time. He is only after the time. Why? Because this time is responsible to snatch away this vigor, energy from him. And in the third stanza, there's not a woman turns her face upon a broken tree, and yet the beauties that I loved are in my memory. what we see, I spit onto the face of time that has transfigured me. Here we see the rays and the nostalgia, right? Also he is talking not exactly the nostalgia, but rather his current status, where his desires are expressed. He has a desire to be looked by beautiful women, but what is happening? They never look to the broken tree, like the birds, right? The birds do not make their nest in a broken tree. It means so what it means is they make nest in a tree with the leaves, right? The green tree that can give flower, that can have flower, and that can bear fruit. The bees do not go and stay in this broken tree, right? So what is he saying is his contemporary current status, where he is neglected, he is isolated, right? He is neglected. Now no one looks at him. So here in the third stanza what we see is his status of being neglected by the other people. In the youth, the girls used to look at him, but now when he is old, like the broken tree itself, no one looks at him. That is what he says. There's not a woman turns her face upon a broken tree. And then what he does is, those beautiful things, those memories are in my, and yet the beauties that I loved. Now the beauties that he loved, the girls with whom he made love in his youth, the girls with whom he had the intimate relationship, now they are not with him here in his periphery, in his surrounding. They are not near to him so that he can touch them, right? They are absent from the physical environment, but these things are in his mind. So it means we see him being nostalgic, right? So he is revisiting the place when those girls used to look at him, used to make love with him, right? So what we see here is he is talking about his own status, where he have the desire to do those youthful things, but those things, those beautiful memories are just in his head, they are in his mind. They cannot be manifested into the reality. They cannot be manifested into the physical form, right? That is what he means here. So this way we see him moving in three different stanzas. First, what he does is he talks about his youthfulness. Second, we come to know about the affairs of the people and his affair. And thirdly, what we come to know is his status, his suffering, his predicament, his loneliness, right? So this is all what we studied yesterday. And today we are going to look at the question answer. Explain the title of the poem. The first chapter the first question that you have is explain the title of the poem. Now, what is the title? Title is The Lamentation of the Old Pensioner. Now we need to explain the title, right? So from the title itself, as I have already explained this title, what it means, lamentation means expressing the sorrow and grief, right? And then the old means who have already passed his youth, who have already passed the energetic days. And now pensioner means one who had been working in his earlier days, who have worked in his days, right? The man who was active, right? So he is lamenting upon the loss of activeness. He is lamenting upon the loss of vigorous and busy life he had. He is lamenting upon the loss of social relations and the social activeness that he once possessed. So from the title itself, we come to know that there is some active person, right? He was active once, But now this activeness has gone. It's faded away. It has been eradicated. It's vanished. It's lost. Now, what we come to know is he is lamenting upon that loss. So this title is sufficient enough to tell us the whole poetry, right? So through the lamentation, expression of sorrow. Now old pensioner is expressing the sorrow. Who is expressing the sorrow? Pensioner. Now pensioner do not have the economical problem. So he may not be expressing, he might not be talking about the economy. What might be he lamenting upon? He might be lamenting upon the loss of activeness. So title itself says us that some old guy is lamenting, expressing the sorrow related to the loss of his active life, sorrow related to the loss of his charm, sorrow related to loss of his strength, loss of his vigor, right? So this is how we explain the title. Beside title, coming down to the second question, we have this second question which says, what does the poem add to our knowledge of old man? What does the poem add to our knowledge of old man? His character, attitude and circumstances. Now what is his character? What type of character he possesses? He is a very social person, right? And he is a sort of lovable person, right? Who had lot of different relationships, right? So about his character, what we come to know is he was very active in his youthful days. He enjoyed all the he enjoys his youth to utmost. He's talking about the girls, he's talking about the politics. So what he had in his life is love and power both. He was near to the fire. That means he was near to the power, near to the strength, near to the vigor, near to the beauty, near to the essence. But we see this. So who is near to the essence? Who is near to love? The lovable person who is lovable, who everyone loves, who is a comfortably going person, easy going person. Those type of person are close. Those type of person are active in the society, and those type of persons are admired by lot of people. So here we see in his youth, this guy was easygoing, this guy was very lovable. But now what we come to know about him in the old days? Now in the old days, what type of character do he possess? Okay, so we come to know that now his character is not much powerful, right? Though he is resisting against the time, in a sense we see he has surrendered to the time also, because he is saying him the broken tree. I am already broken and that cannot be revived again. That cannot be that cannot be brought back into its original charm again. So what we see here is this man, though was powerful in his youthful days, we see that power being lost. We see that vigor being lost. So in a way he is enraged, he is also resisting, right? He is not accepting things easily, but in a certain way, inside him somewhere, there lies this, the attitude of surrender. He is surrendering. And talking about his attitude, okay, so what attitude he had? What type of attitude they have? So what attitude do you think they have? Right? Are irritated. Why is he irritated? He is irritated and very much nostalgic about his old days, right? And what other thing we notice about the old people is that these old people live with the hope. Why we live? We live because I have a dream of tomorrow and I am working today for that. If my dream is lost, I won't have any cause to hook on, right? I won't have anything to relate myself in this great infinity, in this great say the big infinite entity, I won't have anything to relate myself. So what I do is, I survive, I work because of tomorrow. There is a hope, there is a dream, and that dream is making me move and live the life. But in old man's case, what we see is this dream is lost. There is no more dream of the future. Rather, they are very busy visiting their past, visiting the days, the bygone days. They are busy visiting the bygone days, right? So this is what we come to know about the old man. Old age, with the old age, acceptance doesn't come easily. First, people try to resist it, right? And the next thing that we come to know is, we live in the future, but these old people live in the past. We live with the dream, but these old people live with the memories, right? Because he does not have the energy to carry his body towards the dream. And now what is upcoming is the death, the end. So near to the end, you do not live with the dreams, rather person lives with the memories. So we see this old man irritated, right? And somewhat surrendering to, resisting and living with the memories of the bygone days. So now we see this man angry, we see this man being transfigured, and we see this man regretting and resisting this state, right? This status. So this is what we come to know about the old man. That there, okay, that's all about this question. And now we have another question, that is, describe the shift in subject matter in 3 stanzas. What is the effect of this shift? Now, what he does in the first stanza is, he talks about his youthful, vigorous days. And in the second stanza, he is talking about the youth making pikes and conspiracies. And in the third stanza, he is talking about the memory of those lost things, and also his current status, how he is living. He is living with the memory of those girls that he once lived with, right? So how is this subject matter shifting, changing from one to another in his poetry, in the poem, and the change in this subject matter, how is this change affecting, what effect this change is producing upon the meaning of the poetry? That is what your question is asking you. So first of all, what we see is, he is describing the favorable condition. The condition when he was near to the energy. That means he was near to the girls, near to the politics, he was active socially, and he was active in love also, right? So in the first stanza, what we see is his activeness. So this gives us the image that what this man was like in his youth and what has happened to him now. So what we come in his youthful days first. And in the second stanza, what we come to see now, how the youthness of his time is varied or is different from the youthfulness of today's, right? How the time has changed and his energy was wasted or his energy was utilized for the greater purpose of the society and for the love, not to hurt anyone, not to say hurt anyone, but now the youths, the thing that youths are doing is to hurt someone, is to affect someone badly, right? So in the second stanza, we see that contrast, okay, between his youth and the youth of youth when he is old. So this shift is telling us about the two different youthfulness, right? In one youthfulness we see the greater social cause and the love, and in the second stanza we see the same youthfulness. How have that youth changed in today's world? And again, coming down to the third stanza, what we see is his neglected condition. First, what he was in his earlier days. Now, what are the people in his days? And finally, these people are neglecting him. He is isolated, alone, neglected,